In the early ages of Roman Catholic Church, people were deemed to life fulfillment and treasures if they followed God through life. Aside from committing to power of the church and being present, there were also fines and dues to be paid. Unfortunately, this was immensely difficult due to the fact that 90% of the population was poor or in poverty. My name is Christopher Gomez, and I'm going to be answering the question of how did the church keep and spend its wealth, and where did they get it from? The church mainly made its money by collecting offerings during their sermons and dues. Majority of the wealth was used to fundraise for churches and monasteries, while the rest was given to people in need. But before I speak and go on about the wealth of the church, I must first justify how the Roman Empire acquires its wealth. The Roman Empire during the mid-2nd century through some unfashionable changes. There was some scarcity and famine going around, widespread through its cities. But nothing can be done due to the top 10% of wealth being hoarded. Harvesting and farming makes up for the majority of Rome's finances, about 60%. They formed basic procedures in produce, traded for more resources. As the days progressed and the climate conditions became more harsh, it made it harder to farm. Farmers were also taxed along with the people, meaning that the top percent earned more revenue. They also were charged by their landowners for rent, leaving the farmers as poor as the rest, leaving the gap, poor and rich, to grow. The trade routes of the Roman Empire was crisscrossed with trade routes through the seas. Covered the Mediterranean and Black Seas, numerous land routes used roads built by Romans. There was a lot of inequality going around at the time, and the top 10% kept most of the wealth, while the people at the bottom suffered immensely. Corruption was widespread through the Roman Empire right before Constantine came into power. He came into power around 312 AD after his father's death, and he is key to the progression of Christianity. He is the reason Christianity became part of the structure in the government, and the reason a lot of inequality began to fall. In 313 AD, Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, which legalized Christianity and worship all around. Since the basis of Constantine's government was Christianity, he made sure everyone understood what will happen if you do not follow in the direction of religion. For if you sinned or betrayed the word of God, your soul will be potentially deemed to hell. For many, this was a chance of redemption, and for some, this was a scare. Since then, the church was drawn to political structure, and was receiving a lot more wealth than it was before. They were accepting money for burials, donations, or even just receiving a spot for heaven. Since the top percent in the empire were very wealthy, they also attend church and aspire to life after death. And since their goal was heaven, this made the church wealthy, and they own the majority of the wealth. And that is how they have received their money and their wealth. But the way the church spent their money was for fundraising new churches, or in some cases, building new monasteries. However, they mainly focused on the poor and helping the people in need in any way they can. In this point in history, there was also a death going around, ending family bloodlines. During 541 AD, the Black Plague was killing 9 to 10,000 people a day. The church used lots of its wealth to help find aid or need.